Now, cat owners in England have to ensure their pets are microchipped from today as new legislation comes into force. The rules apply to all cats over 20 weeks of age.
Here's what you need to know then. So owners have a 3-week grace period from today to get their animals microchipped, or they may face a fine of up to £500.
There are thought to be just under 9 million cats in England, with more than a fifth, that's around 1.8 million cats, not yet chipped.
We need a lot of chips.
We do.
Our reporter Dave Guest is at an RSPCA animal hospital in Manchester for us this morning. Dave, good morning. So, a lot of work still to be done.
Good morning, John. Yes, there is indeed. As you say, I'm at the RSPCA hospital here in Salford. This is Ninja, now typical of working with animals. Just before we went on air, he was looking at the camera and smiling. He isn't now. Anyway, Ninja's recovering from quite a serious operation, and he's one of many residents here. Another one, let me introduce you to Hastings. Now, Hastings was a stray when he was taken in here. He's in pretty good health. Now, Hastings is chipped, and that's a jolly good thing too, because if you own a cat, as of today, you have to have them chipped, otherwise you could face a fine. Well, Megan is a vet here. Just demonstrate for us how we can tell that Hastings is chipped. I'll just take that out of there.
So we just use a microchip scanner.
Yep.
And the chip is inserted in the back of the cat's neck, and we just lose that over there. That beep signals that there is a microchip in Hastings, and there's a number on here, which is his microchip number.
Oh, fantastic. So, as of today, as I say, cats have got to be microchipped.
Yep.
What's your opinion of that?
So, right, Hastings, get back in there.
He's going back in the box. Oh, he doesn't like it in there. But anyway, just for a few minutes, Hastings.
Yes.
So, what's your opinion of this, the fact that people will now have to have them microchipped?
As the RSPCA, we're really happy that this law has come into place. There's loads of benefits to microchipping your cat. The main one is that we're much more likely to be able to reunite owners with their cats if they're lost, stolen or injured. But there's other benefits. We're hoping it will reduce the amount of abandoned cats we get presented with. People may be less likely to unfortunately dump their cats anywhere. And some of the smaller benefits that people might not be aware of is the fact that you can get microchipped cat flaps. So that means that only your cat can enter and leave your house. And you can also get microchipped food bowls, which means you can control your cat's diet if they were overweight or needed a specific food.
So it sounds like a great thing. Why would people not have the microchip then? What's putting them off?
I think a lot of people weren't aware of the benefits, you know, prior to this. Maybe they didn't realise how important it was. And I think a lot of people think, oh, well, you know, my cat's an indoor cat, or it doesn't stray very far, but you just never know. It's always good to make sure you've got a microchip, just in case something were to happen.
Does it hurt them when they're having the microchip put in?
It's basically like, so they should have their annual vaccines. It's just a one-off injection in the back of the neck. It's not painful at all, and it should last them a whole lifetime. So it's just one thing that they have to have, and then that's it for their whole lives.
Well, if Brian the cameraman comes back, I can show you actually one of the chips, just like that. So they're only actually very small, aren't they? They go just under the skin.
Yeah.
One quick injection and it's done.
It doesn't bother the cat at all. Once it's in the skin, they don't even know it's there, so they can't feel it. It's not bothering the cat at all. So it's a really quick and simple procedure to have.
And once you've had your cat microchipped, it stays with the cat for life. But if you move house, you have to go into the database. You register on the database in the first place, then you have to change your details if you move.
So it's the owner's responsibility to make sure that the cat's microchip details are up to date. So if they move address or change phone numbers, it's their responsibility to make sure it's changed on the database. If an owner's not sure what details are on there or what the cat's number is, just make an appointment with your vet and the vet can scan it and find that out for you.
OK, Megan, thanks very much. And thank you to you, Hastings, for being so patient. So you've been told, make sure your cat is microchipped.
We have been warned, Dave. Thank you very much indeed. From today, cats in England must be microchipped. The new rules apply to all cats over 20 weeks of age.
Yeah, pet owners, this is what you need to know. You don't have long. You've got a grace period of 3 weeks from today to get your pet microchipped, or you could risk facing a fine of up to £500.
There are thought to be just under 9 million cats in England, with more than a fifth, 1.8 million, not yet microchipped.
Well, our reporter Dave Guest is at an RSPCA animal hospital for us in Manchester this morning, when, Dave, you've seen some of the some of your company being chipped right there today.
That's right, yes, good morning, John. Yeah, this is Princess. Now, she has literally just been microchipped, and that's a jolly good thing because, as you say, from today in England, you could face a fine if you don't get your cat microchipped. Now, we were able to watch the process. In fact, we got some pictures of that. I think hopefully we can show you now to show just how quick it is. Basically, it was a quick injection, basically, into her back. She didn't feel a thing. In fact, she was really helped by the fact that there was a nice big plate full of tuna there to keep her occupied, but she emerged from it completely unscathed. Now she is chipped. That information will go onto a database, and then should she ever be lost in the future, they can go into the database and hopefully find all of her details and reunite her with her owner. Now, what is a chip, I'm asking you? I hear you asking me. Well, this is it. Basically, it's this tiny, tiny thing, not much bigger than a grain of rice, and this basically is what is injected into the animal, and that contains all the information. Of course, you have to update the information should you ever move house or change your phone number or whatever. Well, Alice is joining me now from the RSPCA. What are the main benefits of microchipping, in your opinion?
So the RSPCA is so pleased that this legislation has come into force. The main benefit is that microchipping is the most quickest and effective way of reuniting cats, like Princess, if they become lost or stolen or injured. Obviously, we always hope that the worst won't happen to our cats, but accidents do happen sometimes.
But if it's so good, why are so many people not having the cats microchipped at present?
Yeah, I think there's various reasons. So we're at the forefront of rescue, and we do see 1 in 10 cats coming into our care aren't microchipped. I think partly it's because some people aren't aware that the legislation's actually coming into place. Cats who live indoors only, sometimes their owners don't necessarily think that their cats need to be microchipped. And also it's possible that cost might be a barrier.
I was going to ask about that, because obviously the cost of living crisis at the moment.
Yeah.
How much does it cost roughly to have a cat microchipped?
Yeah, so it varies across the country, but roughly around about £25.
And what if people are struggling to pay the £25?
Yeah, well, luckily there's often lots of low-cost cat microchipping schemes running, so lots of local RSPCA branches put them on, but other animal welfare charities do. So absolutely, if people are struggling with the cost of living and paying for their cat to be microchipped, please find out what you might be eligible in for your local area, because there probably will be options there for you.
Now, there are obviously all sorts of different cats, they all have different characteristics,
yeah,
but some of them do wander off, so it is possible that you lose your cat.
Yeah.
Without a microchip, the chance of getting him or her back, pretty slim.
Yeah, I mean, it's way more difficult if they've not been microchipped or if the contact details haven't been kept up to date. So if, for example, one of our inspectors brings in a cat, if we're microchipped, we can quite easily reunite them with their owner. If they're not, that's quite a tricky process for us, trying to work out, does the cat have an owner, where they stray, if there's contact details on there, if they're not up to date. That's a lot of work for us as well.
You've mentioned it, I mentioned it earlier, it is important to keep that database up to date.
Yes,
if you do
absolutely.
move, change your mobile number
Yeah.
or whatever, so that
Yeah.
then when the chip is red, they can reunite you
Yeah.
with your cat. Well, thanks very much indeed, Alice. So that is the law in England from today. You've got 21 days to comply with it, otherwise you could face that £500 fine if you don't get your cat microchipped.
Well, Princess looks fine to us. Isn't she beautiful?
She's been very patient, hasn't she?
Yeah, a lot friendlier than Hastings was earlier. Look at that face.
Hello, Princess. Watch your fingers, Dave. Thank you very much indeed.